Because of some unrelated issues with my internet, the article I was writing for my website, blackcatbooks.org, has been deleted. In it, I was going in depth about the relationship between Shenmue and my upcoming novel, Rabbit Hole. Like, I was going to talk in depth about how Shenmue influenced it and things like that. But unfortunately, because of the internet, I lost my entire document. It was something like 500, like something like, it was not a short article. Like, it was pretty long by blackcatbooks.org standards, but, I wrote it and I lost it and I didn't want to write it out again. So I might as well just make a YouTube video about it, talking about Shenmue and Rabbit Hole. Like, where do I even begin? Like, do I talk about, like, Shenmue or do I talk about Rabbit Hole? It's just, man, how did my article go? Okay, so I was talking... Okay, so we all know Shenmue. This is a gaming channel. Blackcatbooks.org started with a lengthy explanation as to what Shenmue was, but I don't think I need to do that here. Shenmue is a video game series featuring by Sega that incorporates this very strong emphasis on immersion and exploring a highly detailed and realistic world. It was, of course, very groundbreaking at its time. It's very, very famous. It's even today, and it still holds up. I was very, very surprised when I first played Shenmue at how well it still held up, because I had been told for years that, like, the game was kind of outdated and that it didn't work well. I enjoyed it a lot more than I do a lot of modern games, to be honest with you. Like, Shenmue, in spite of all of its very real problems, is still way more interesting and unique than I think, games like... What is even coming out this year? Devil May Cry 5, Kingdom Hearts 3, what even else came out recently? I can't even think of anything. But yeah, like, Shenmue has a unique identity. It has a unique perspective. It has this very, very fresh feel to it. This very specific tone to it that's very, very unique to it. You know what I mean? Like, Shenmue is Shenmue. Like, it's basically unreplicatable. Like, they did so many interesting things with, like, the way the game was designed and how the story progresses and stuff like that. You can't really make Shenmue again. Quite literally. Like, Shenmue 3 was a complete disaster, and I've heard Shenmue 2 has problems as well. But I was strongly influenced by the setting of Shenmue, not necessarily the Japanese nature of it, but the idea of a martial artist living his life and then being sucked into something greater, like something beyond what he ever expected to get into. Like, when it comes to Shenmue, it's like Ryo is on an adventure to avenge the death of his fallen father, right? Who had been murdered at the hands of Lao Di, the evil Chinese triad member who was brought to Japan by boat and killed a black cat on his way away while he drove away after murdering Ryo's father. Like, again, it's did I say a black cat? It's not actually a black cat, is it? Like, a cat on his way from leaving Ryo's awesome house in Sakura Hills. By the way, I'm not sure if I'm ever going to have a chance to talk about this again, but Sakura Hills, Ryo's house in Shenmue is cool as fuck. I would love to have a dojo. I could probably build one, but, like, that's legit one of the coolest houses I've ever seen in my life. Like, I legit love Ryo's house. But anyway, so that's Shenmue, essentially. Like, you're going around asking people questions, occasionally getting into fights, and basically being involved with your everyday routine. You know what I mean? Like, helping people, like, take care of cats and stuff like that. Helping an old lady find a house. Like, it's very, 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 very compelling stuff in spite of its simplicity and its very down-to-earth nature and its grander overarching plot. That was the sort of feel I wanted to replicate with Rabbit Hole, in which the protagonist, Will Way, is a college student who suddenly finds himself involved in this grand conspiracy involving child trafficking, right, on his school campus, right? So he essentially begins asking all these questions, starts getting the attention of all the wrong people, and things start going south until he decides to fight back. So maybe that's going a little bit too specific, but as to how this thing is going to go. But that's the general idea of Rabbit Hole. Like, basically the same. It has a radically different plot to Shenmue. Like, it's not necessarily about revenge. I would say it's more about like justice and doing the right thing, and like being there for people and supporting your friends and the people around you and the community and stuff like that, and dealing with corruption and authority figures and stuff like that. It's different in plot wise, but like tonally, I tried to make it very, very similar. Like, this, have the same kind of like personality and feel to it. Like, when it comes to like the idea of Will essentially going about his day, doing things, and just figuring out what his role in this situation actually is, or what he wants his role to be in this situation, deciding for himself what he wants to do with with this rabbit hole he's uncovered, so to speak. It's interesting. They're radically different properties. I mean, radically different plot lines, I should say. But of course, the influences to Shenmue are there, and of course, Shenmue takes inspiration from, like, I believe, classic 70s martial arts movies and stuff like that. Again, art inspires art. I made an article about this on Black Cat Books about, like, I think it was the Junji Ito one where I was talking about like the Frankenstein adaptation. Check that out. That was a really good article. I really enjoyed writing that. Again, art inspires art. So again, I took this idea that Shenmue established and sort of gave my own version to it. Like, it's still a martial artist. He's still living in this town, but like, it's America. The setting is different. The setting is different. The situation is different. The results are different. The plot progression is different. There are a lot. There are a lot of things about Rabbit Hole that I'm very, very proud of. And I'm not really sure if I can talk about anything more without giving too much away. Really, just talking about it has kind of motivated me to get back into writing it again. So I'm going to. I think I'm going to sign off now and get some work done and try to get that next 1,000 words written out. And I'm very happy with the progress I've made over the past week. I am almost at the halfway point. I'm almost halfway through. And since we're halfway through, I think I should be able to like blow through it pretty quickly. I don't know how quickly. It will be done before the end of the year for sure. My deadline was like August 31st, but my schedule is packed. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to make that or not. I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try really, really hard to make that happen, but we're going to have to see. Until then, I will see you all next time with my next update video for Rabbit Hole. Thank you. Check out my website at blackcatbooks.org. Check me out on Twitter at the... maybe I'll just link to Twitter. My Twitter's on the website. You can find it. Just go to the website. Until then, I will see you all next time.